Good evening. Welcome to the Slanted Camera Festival. I guess we should tell you that Slanted Camera was New Angle's first project. Specifically, it was designed to give you a quote-unquote new angle on things in the Erie area. What do you think, Matthew?
I think that we also want to let everybody know that these tapes are old and they're like home copies that have been recopied and recopied.
So this is kind of like a historic event that Erie's actually seeing these really old programs of ours from 1985. What about this first one?
This first one was our, if you remember, our test. In order to become cable access users under the guidelines of Erie Cablevision in 1985, we had to make a 30-minute production non-stop with no editing, no changes whatsoever, and be able to present it as a television program to the Erie community.
Well, I think what's really interesting is our guest lineup. We had Jim Cook from WJET-TV, Scott Gomersall, who was with Channel 35 at the time, and who was that weird-looking guy I saw on there? No, he wasn't weird, but who was that?
Dan Smith from that really terrible group, the Generic Beat.
Oh,
that bass player was terrible.
I don't know about that. Well, let's let the people watch the show. We'll tell them more after the end of this show what's coming up in the next one, right?
Okay, we're out of here. Enjoy Slanted Camera.
Hello, my name is Don Weber. The name of our show is Slanted Camera, a program designed to give you a new angle on the people who make our hometown more colorful. Today I'm fortunate enough to have three guests with me, one being Scott Gomersall from TV 35, Mr. Jim Cook from WJET-TV and radio, and Dan Smith, who's from the musical group The Generic Beat. Our first guest will be Scott. Scott, welcome to the show.
Hi, Don.
Why don't you give us an idea how you got started out in television, Scott?
I think I bribed somebody somewhere along the way. You know, I started working at WJET about 1980 and started working as in production, putting together commercials and working weekends and all sorts of strange hours to kind of get ahead.
Strange hours?
Yeah, from 5 o'clock till 4 in the morning and things like that. Yeah.
Really?
TV doesn't run on a regular schedule, as like most people.
Did you ever have any higher education to get your job?
I got a degree from Penn State. It's not in the same field, but it's close enough. That wasn't the impetus behind me getting hired. I finished up my degree. I'd gone to college for 3 years and dropped out and went to work in television. And I decided just to finish up, just to have the piece of paper.
And now you're working for Channel 35?
Yeah, now I work for Channel 35. I'm their chief news photographer and editor, and I go around chasing ambulances and dignitaries and strange things like that.
Yeah, that sounds great, Scott. I'll tell you something. Tell me something. What was the worst thing that ever happened to you when you were little?
Worst thing that happened to me when I was little?
The worst possible thing that ever could have happened.
I don't know. I think I grew up is what it was.
You grew up?
Yeah. So it was devastating.
Growing up was it terrible?
One day I discovered that I was an adult, and it was like all over after that. Yeah. Somebody had to like inform me of that, and kind of ruin things for me.
When you were little, when you thought someday you're going to grow up, did you dream that you would be like in a TV career?
I never started out thinking I'm going to be in television. I want to do television. What? I was always technically oriented. I always liked the gadgets and things like that, and I just love playing with electronic equipment. It's just my pastime.
How old are you now, Scott?
I am 27.
You're 27 years old. In the future, when you get up the ladder, what is your career goal, your ultimate career dream?
Yeah, I've given a lot of thought to that. I consider like moving into like all the major markets and things like that. I'd probably like to end up in some market like Washington, D.C. Doing what I'm not sure if I was like a news photographer like I'm doing now, or maybe move up into producing. I think the line I'd do would be probably promotional producing commercials for the television stations that you work for. That seems to be an exciting end of it, because television is, it's not work for me. It's more or less
fun.
Yeah,
fun, basic. Yeah. That's great. When you when you first started out, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that is ready to take a career in television? It was like, say, in television news.
For any sort of career in television, take what you can get, whether it's little pieces of this and that, or if it's working on a show like this, get some background, get some experience. That's what counts more than maybe your education. There's a lot of people out there with their degrees in communication who still can't find a job in it. But if you've got some practical experience in it, then you got a head start against everybody else to get a job in television.
Really?
Because it seems to things that attract people.
Attract people. Like the show you're on right now, do you like shows like this? I mean, do you like to see shows like this on public broadcasting?
I think cable has its uses, and this is one of them. Besides like bringing in your HBO and being able to watch blue movies at midnight, this gives a chance to like air alternate viewing matter other than like how the ice forms in the Arctic on a PBS show or something like that. Yeah, this gives you a chance to get Erie in the limelight rather than something that's national.
Really? Okay, when you're done at Channel 35 and you go home, and you want to relax and you want to sit down and you want to watch television, what do you like to watch? What is your personal favorites?
I generally don't watch all that much of TV. I always like relate to friends that when I was a child I wasn't allowed to watch TV until I finished all my livers and Brussels sprouts. So like now when I think of TV I think of like liver and Brussels sprouts.
Liver and Brussels, so I have to work
what I watch. I tend to watch reruns. They're my favorite.
They're my favorite too.
I don't know. I'm the one that cranks through all the cable channels to find like reruns of Gilligan's Island and Green Acres. Green Acres is probably one of my favorites. Yeah.
I remember some of my favorite older shows, which I really don't mind when I see a rerun. Yeah. Some reruns I do mind, of course, but most of them I really don't like. Say Green Acres, The Munsters, McHale's Navy. Which I'm sure you probably, when you were growing up.
Yeah, every time I see Jack Lord, I make the sign of the cross and like turn the channel.
Yeah.
I just don't care for that type of stuff. But yeah, like I said, when I get finished with working with TV for the day, I usually like sit down and like do absolutely nothing for about an hour, like get everything unwind, because it's something that you can't walk away from sometimes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Scott, thanks a lot.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Scott Gomersall, thanks.
Thank you.
No problem. Our next guest is a person who has been involved in both TV and radio. His name is Mr. Jim Cook. He works for WJET. Jim, nice to have you on the show.
Hello.
How you been?
It's a pleasure being here. Did I tell you how much I like your theme music for the show?
Thank you.
You got to have the band in here live.
French horror classics.
Let's get some lyrics for it. People will be humming it sort of like the Flipper
I was going to
theme.
make some lyrics, but I couldn't think
Didn't
of them
have
on
the
the
time.
spot.
I could see that.
Jim, tell me something. How old were you? It was the first time you heard your voice come over the radio?
Probably about 16. I was in high school in my hometown, which is Buffalo, New York. And I was, got to know the disc jockeys at what was the leading personality radio station, rock personality radio station in Buffalo. And eventually they got tired of hearing from me, I guess, and put me on the air to do character voices and various other things. Which was a kick because I had always wanted to be on radio ever since you were young. 12, 13 years old. I kind of discovered it and said, this is what for me.
Right, and you did pursue your dream.
Yeah, you focalize and you have a goal and you just keep working toward it, and that was what happened.
You're obviously doing good at it right now. Do you like, Jim, tell me something. What kind of, when you're doing your radio program, do you ever feel that you're misunderstood in any way? Do you hate your critics? Do you?
Oh no, I don't. There's certainly a place for critics, and I imagine I have as many of them as anyone who is in the public eye.
Probably.
Probably more. There certainly has been enough criticism leveled at both my radio and television appearances, but I also have the opportunity to meet a lot of really nice people. Being able to do this has enabled me to get to see a lot of people in the community I never would have been able to meet and get to know. Because first and foremost, when you're on the tube, if you've been doing this show, eventually enough people get to see you where out on the street they feel friendly and comfortable enough with you to come up and say, hey, how you doing, that sort of deal, and you don't even know them, but it's kind of nice that they feel that friendly enough to come up to you, that they feel they know you.
Yeah, because you're a personality.
So that's nice. You get to meet people that way.
Oh, Jim, I almost forgot. I was told before the show that you and Scott used to work together before.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, geez.
Back when?
About 1980, I think it was.
1980, Late Great Horse Show.
The first television show that I had really ever done.
I love that show.
It was a lot of fun. We did it live. There aren't a lot of live television shows done anywhere in the country, let alone on cable, and we did it live on TV.
The king of impromptus, yes. We'd come in at 8 o'clock in the evening and would put it together for an hour and a half later.
Scott ran the films for the show.
Yeah.
And I think you ran camera and a bunch of
yeah, I even directed that show at times. Too.
That's right. We did a lot of wild things. It was a lot of fun. We had a small knit group of people, and we just kind of did whatever we felt we wanted to do. We'd take the camera outside, go out to the dumpster, we'd roller skate, all kinds of crazy stuff.
That was basically your idea.
Well, I don't know, it was my idea. I mean, basically what would happen is I'd come in every night, and the director, Mitch Spear, who was our director at the time, would say, "What are we going to do next, Jim?" "I don't know. Can we roll the camera over here?" And he'd say, "Yeah, all right, well, we'll do that." Or we'd get a Porta-Pack camera. I said, "Let's take it out to the, to the Coke machine, and we'll do something out." "All right," because I hated to be confined to that one. We had our dungeon, And
Yeah, I remember the dungeon.
I hated to be confined to the dungeon a lot, so I was always getting myself in trouble because the program director would say, "Don't do that again." All the time.
When you're doing television, do you feel yourself more or less, let's put it this way, do you like to be doing TV more than you like to be doing radio, or is there a happy medium, or don't you?
I enjoy both. I like radio. Radio is my first love, and television sort of came secondly, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy that it did. It's been a lot of fun doing both the horror show and video rock and
Video rock.
the other shows that I've been able to do. But I think my first love it always will be radio.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Jim, time for the ultimate question. What was the worst thing you ever did when you were a little kid?
This is a slanted camera question.
This is one of the basic slanted camera questions. This is the new one.
The worst thing I ever did
Something
as a
no one's
kid.
ever known. Something you never told anybody before.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I don't have. It hasn't happened yet because I haven't grown up, I guess. I haven't. I don't know. There's nothing really that I think would be interesting to anybody that I've done.
Then don't say it.
Been really bizarre.
And don't even mention it, because I can't think of anything I did. I was pretty much a perfect kid.
There was once that waitress, Jim, but you want to leave.
Don't talk about her. That was. Put that away. It never would have made the papers if it wasn't a slow news day.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Pepsi Day, because I know that's coming up.
Jet Pepsi Day, WJET Radio. We've been doing this for a number of years now, and we have a lot of fun with it. It's going to be out at Waldemere Park, July 10th.
Great.
And we've got a couple of bands that are going to be there. Friction is one of them, and one of your next guests, as a matter of fact, is going to be joining us. The Generic Beat will be out there from noon until 4. We go all day long. We broadcast live from the park. And we have a whole lot of, one of our disc jockeys is going for the bumper boat record.
The bumper boat record?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was one.
Well, he's going to make one.
He's going to make one.
9 straight hours on bumper boats.
9 straight hours on bumper boats? Is that possible?
Right. Well, we'll find out.
Well, great.
We'll find out about that.
Hey, Jim, thanks for talking with us. We really appreciate it. Okay, our next guest is not really a personal friend of mine. I met Dan about 7 months ago. He's currently singing in the Generic Beat, a musical group in town. He's the lead singer, and hey, Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Don.
How you been, buddy?
Doing pretty good.
Dan, I know a few of your friends, and I've only known you, how long have I known you?
About 5 months or
5
so.
months. I hated every minute I've known you, but other than that, Dan, tell me something. I've got a question here that's really is kind of a secret question for you.
Shoot.
I heard that when you were little, it was rumored that you opened your presents up from Santa Claus several days before Christmas started.
I have to say it's true. This was back in the 60s. I got together with 2 of my brothers. We had Tiger Joe tank, we had Johnny Eagle guns, gigantic cannon,
You had a Johnny Eagle gun,
battleship,
too?
a Cadillac this big that was remote control.
A remote
It was a big
Cadillac?
Christmas for us. Dad made a lot of money that year.
Did you get in trouble?
We sure did.
What happened?
They threw the toys at us.
They threw the toys at
He
you?
said, play with them. Go ahead, have fun. This was about a week before Christmas, and we just sat there dumbfounded, like, still fun now. We got yelled at.
What made you do it? You just didn't care?
Curiosity.
You had to have the
We
presents.
knew they were in the closet. It's like,
Really?
you know,
You're kind
matter
of the
of
same
time.
way now, though, right?
No,
No.
I'm very patient.
Very patient person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan, I'll tell you, and I'm going to ask you another question. I'm trying to think exactly why I want to say this. When you're performing in front of a camera, is it different than performing in front of an audience, or do you like it in correlation?
Put it this way, performing in front of a camera is like performing in front of one person, and that's about the hardest thing to do. Give me 200 people, 300 people, or more. One person makes me scared.
So you're more nervous in front
I'm
of a camera?
scared right now.
I believe it. You look scared to me.
I'm scared.
So what if we got like a camera and put 300 people behind it, make it feel more...
Very interesting, yeah.
I know. But Dan, I'll tell you, I got another question here. Okay, this is a good question. I'm trying to remember this. I want to word this right, because every question I ask you, since you're a friend of mine, you are a friend of mine.
Yes, I hope.
This question I wanted to ask you, does your life seem any different now that you've been in a... Well, ever since you started in bands, like you were in the Wiggle and Judy's and the Ex-Wife, since you started in bands, did you feel any different? Do people look at you kind of funny when you walk down the street?
Only when my hair is orange.
Yeah, what color's your hair? Auburn.
I don't know, it might be many colors right now.
Yeah, you told me you're going blonde this summer.
I'm going blonde in about a week or so. And I'll see if I have more fun. Yeah.
I hope you're doing that.
Yeah, I've been playing since 1980, so that gives me about 5 years going on.
Really?
6, and...
Do you like the... You like,
yes, it's changed my life.
You do like the... You like the generic beat quite a bit, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't work with bands unless I like them. Boy, what a lie. No, I like them very well. I work with good people, and we get together very well.
You make a lot of money.
We make pretty good money. I wouldn't say a lot of money, but I'm satisfied, and hopefully we're tasteful. We try to keep people in line.
Okay, Dan, when you're... Would you advise somebody, if, say, Joe Schmo was going to become a singer in a band, would you advise him to just go right on the bars and play in bands, except just go, like, maybe go cut a record or do a video and broadcast it over, like, say, this station?
I lost that question.
Okay, one more time.
Okay.
Concentrate.
Ask him about Joe Schmo again.
Joe Schmo, that's what threw me.
Joe Schmo is a fictional character that I kind of used just to make you understand.
Really, like John Doe. Joe Schmo.
Joe Schmo, because I'm on the west side, you're from the east side.
Well, as anything, I would say if they're very interested in it, kind of jump feet first or head first, immerse yourself into it, and find out if you like it. If you like it, you'll work at it. If you don't, it'll be a passing fade. And a fade.
A fade? A passing fade? A lot of passing fades, Dan.
Don't laugh.
I love that television. Did I ever laugh at you?
No, never laughed at me.
Wow.
Not even at my jokes.
Tell me something. When you're in the bar and you have a really lousy night, I mean really lousy, I mean there's 5 people there, you know.
We've had them, yeah.
You've had them.
I've had them, yes.
What do? You just sort of try to make those 5 people your audience, or?
Yeah, I've played in different bands. Let's see, we played in Buffalo at a place called New York, New York, and a guy and his wife showed up once, and that was it.
A guy and his wife? Did he like the band?
That was the good night. We went back there 2 weeks after that, and nobody showed up, so we played to the barmaid. She had a good time.
You mean you played to an empty bar?
No, there was a barmaid
There was a barmaid there?
Yeah,
No
there was no people.
There was no people at all?
Besides the barmaid.
Did you play?
Yes, we played, sure.
You played?
And, oh, that's right, another guy walked in. He was a traveling salesman.
That
had a
shows you're a
harmonica.
professional.
He had a harmonica, so he played blues harmonica. We said, go up to the microphone, have fun. Nobody's here.
So he played for you?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dan, I heard you were recently married.
That's false.
No, actually, I already know you're recently married.
Yeah, you know the truth.
How do you like married life?
I like married life.
I don't even know if Jim and Scott, are you guys married?
No.
No, 3 bachelors.
See that?
I'm a bachelor, too.
Bachelor number 3, yes.
Yes, our number will appear below us.
There's another new angle for all our
Call
Slanted
now.
Camera. Okay,
We're looking.
guys,
We're
do not
desperate.
get married.
Let me tell you, my wife and I practiced for 5 years, and then we got married, which I think is pretty intelligent. Why would I say that? We're stupid.
That's right. 5 years from now, you won't be divorced. Well, you
I
might.
hope not.
I hope
You
not,
know,
too.
Yeah. Life and times, you never know.
Is
I
it
might be married to you, Don.
I couldn't be that lucky, Dan. Matter of fact, let's give it a try. Now, we can't do it now. You're already married, aren't you?
That's right.
You should forget these
Can I
things.
tell you where we're playing?
Yes.